Tornadoes don't follow a schedule. Tornadoes can happen at any time of day or night. What matters most isn't the time on the clock, but the atmospheric conditions. When warm, moist air near the ground collides with cold, dry air above, it creates instability, the perfect recipe for thunderstorms and sometimes tornadoes. While these conditions are most common in the late afternoon and early evening, the atmosphere doesn't reset after dark. If those ingredients stick around, a tornado can form overnight just as easily as during the day. The role of the nighttime boundary layer. During the day, the sun heats the ground, which warms the air above it. After sunset, the surface cools quickly, creating a stable boundary layer near the ground. Usually, that stability prevents storms from growing stronger. But here's the twist. Sometimes warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico or another source moves above that cooler surface layer. This creates what meteorologists call elevated instability. Even though the surface air is cool, the air higher up can still rise violently, triggering powerful storms that rotate, and that rotation can spawn tornadoes. Low-level jets, the midnight power source. One of the biggest drivers of nighttime tornadoes is something called a low-level jet, a stream of fast-moving air about a mile above the ground that often strengthens after sunset. As the ground cools and surface winds weaken, this jet intensifies, feeding warm, moist air into storms that are already forming. The extra wind speed and direction change with height, known as wind shear, creates ideal conditions for supercells. These are the rotating thunderstorms that produce the most destructive tornadoes. So even though the ground might be calm, the atmosphere above is roaring with energy. How storm systems persist after dark. Many nighttime tornadoes aren't born after dark. They're carryovers from storm systems that began earlier in the day. A line of severe storms can travel hundreds of miles, lasting well past sunset. For example, a supercell that forms in Oklahoma in the late afternoon can move into Arkansas or Missouri by midnight, still carrying enough rotation to produce tornadoes. Once these storms are established, the loss of sunlight doesn't immediately weaken them. Why tornadoes are more dangerous at night? The main reason nighttime tornadoes are so deadly is simple. People are asleep. Most victims never hear warnings in time to take cover. Tornado sirens, weather apps, and TV alerts aren't always enough when you're unconscious or your phone is on silent. Visibility also becomes a major problem. During the day, you can see the storm approaching. At night, tornadoes are nearly invisible unless lightning briefly illuminates them or they're backlit by city lights. By the time you realize one is there, it's often too late. Hidden tornadoes in rain and darkness. Even meteorologists struggle to detect nighttime tornadoes. Many are rain-wrapped, meaning heavy rain surrounds the funnel, concealing it completely. In the dark, these invisible tornadoes blend into the storm clouds and landscape. Radar can detect rotation, but pinpointing the exact funnel location is difficult, especially in rural areas with few radar stations. That's why some nighttime tornadoes are only confirmed after they've caused damage. The statistics are chilling. According to multiple studies from the National Weather Service, nighttime tornadoes are about twice as deadly as daytime ones. Even though they make up less than 30% of total tornadoes, they account for nearly half of all tornado-related deaths in the United States. The deadliest examples include the super outbreak of 1974, which produced several nighttime EF4 and EF5 tornadoes, and the December 2021 outbreak that hit Kentucky, destroying towns while most people slept. These events remind us that tornadoes don't care about the clock. They strike whenever conditions allow. Regions. Most at risk. Nighttime tornadoes happen everywhere, but they're far more common in the southeastern United States. Places like Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Meteorologists call this area Dixie Alley. Unlike the Great Plains, where tornadoes usually occur in the afternoon, the Southeast often experiences late-night storms fueled by Gulf moisture and strong wind shear. Plus, the region has more trees, hills, and smaller towns, which makes spotting and tracking tornadoes even harder. The role of seasonal patterns. Tornado season varies by region, but the risk of nighttime tornadoes tends to increase in spring and late fall. That's when warm and cold air masses clash the most violently. During these transition seasons, weather systems move fast, often producing storms that last well into the night. Cold fronts sweeping through warm, humid air can trigger massive supercells long after sunset, catching people off guard. How technology is helping save lives. Meteorologists today have far better tools than ever before to detect nighttime tornadoes. Dual polarization radar can identify debris in the air, confirming a tornado even if it's hidden by rain or darkness. Apps can send instant alerts to your phone the moment a warning is issued. Weather radios, especially those with loud alarms, are still one of the best defenses. They don't rely on cell service and can wake you up even during a power outage. Early detection and fast communication have saved countless lives, but public awareness remains just as important. Preparing for nighttime tornadoes. If you live in a tornado-prone area, preparation is key. Always have a tornado plan ready, even before bedtime. Know exactly where to go, a basement, interior room, or storm shelter, and keep essentials like flashlights, shoes, and a phone nearby. Set your phone to receive emergency weather alerts and consider investing in a NOAA weather radio with a backup battery. Practicing a plan can make all the difference when seconds matter. The psychological impact. There's also a mental toll that comes with nighttime tornadoes. Survivors often describe waking up to chaos, windows shattering, walls collapsing, the roar of the wind like a freight train. The suddenness of it all makes the experience even more traumatic. Communities hit by nighttime tornadoes often struggle more with long-term recovery, not just from physical damage, but from fear. Many survivors report being unable to sleep during storms for years afterward. The myths about nighttime tornadoes. Some people believe tornadoes can't form at night or during winter. That's false. Tornadoes can form anytime conditions are right, regardless of season or sunlight. In fact, some of the most destructive outbreaks in U.S. history happened after dark or in the colder months. Believing these myths can be deadly because it leads people to ignore warnings or stay asleep during dangerous storms. The science behind lightning flashes and visibility. Lightning is often the only clue that a tornado is nearby. Frequent flashes can briefly reveal the outline of the funnel, giving spotters a chance to confirm it. But lightning can also disorient people, especially when it reflects off rain or debris. Meteorologists sometimes rely on lightning activity to gauge storm intensity. An active electrical storm often means strong updrafts, which can hint at possible tornado formation. Learning from the past. Every major nighttime tornado event has taught scientists something new. After the 2011 Tuscaloosa-Birmingham tornado, researchers realized how critical nighttime communication was. The disaster led to improvements in alert systems and stronger public outreach. Similarly, the 2021 Mayfield, Kentucky tornado showed that communities need both technology and education. Despite strong forecasts, many people simply didn't believe such a storm could strike while they slept. These tragedies remind us that awareness is just as vital as science. Why nighttime tornadoes will remain a threat. Even with better radar and faster alerts, nighttime tornadoes will always be dangerous because of human behavior. Most people still rely on seeing a tornado to take action, but at night, that's impossible. The only defense is preparation, trust in warnings, and quick response.